Today I'm going to speak to you about Colombia. Now, just before starting the speech, I haven't quite started yet, I'd like to give you a few words which will come in very useful. I'm going to speak about the Colombian national airline, which is called Avianca. I'm going to mention a mountain called Monserrate. I might mention Via Crucis, or the Way of the Cross. I might also mention the Incas and El Dorado, and a Colombian dish, which is called bandeja paisana. Oh, where's Alejandra? She can tell me what. Bandeja paisana, right? Yeah, okay. So, if you're ready, away we go. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to speak to you about Colombia. I'd like to tell you about the time I spent in Colombia. I was there for a very short period, only 2 days. So although I was there for a short period, I actually managed to get to do a lot of things. I saw a lot of the city. I was actually in Bogota by accident, because I was simply catching a plane and I was supposed to be going to London, but there ended up being problems along the way, and so I had the pleasure of staying in Bogota. What actually happened was that I was flying from Quito in Ecuador to London, and there was simply a stopover in Bogota. I was supposed to only get off the plane, wait for another couple of hours before getting on the next connection flight. But what happened was the airline, the Colombian airline called Avianca, had overbooked the passengers on the plane, so there were too many people, and they simply announced, if you would like to have a free stay in a hotel, and if you'd like to have a discount for future Avianca flights, then please come forward and we can offer this to you in exchange for you giving your place to someone else on the flight. Now, I think I was probably the only person who came forward, because it seemed that everybody else was very keen to get home, and but I was like, wow, this is great. I can stay another day in Latin America. Wonderful. And also I had my expenses paid, because they were paying for food as well as the hotel. So they took me along to this hotel. I was sitting next to a few French guys who were complaining about the situation a great deal. They were very unhappy at their fate, since they were working for a lighting company and they had to be back in order to set up a conference. They were doing the lighting for a conference or a concert, and they were very upset because they wouldn't be able to do it in time, and it meant that they would lose a lot of money. But there was nothing that could be done about it. They were just unlucky. I, on the other hand, was there sitting on the minibus looking forward to staying at the hotel, trying to hide my glee, because I didn't want to make others feel bad. And so the hotel wasn't too bad in the end. And when I ventured out the next day, I thought, I've got a whole day in Bogota and maybe tomorrow as well, so I want to see what there is to see. I want to see the sights in the city. So first of all, I wandered to a train station, and there was a man who noticed that I was a tourist, and he noticed that I was probably a bit lost. And so he came up to me and he said, "Hey, I've got an idea. Why don't I show you the city? I can see that you're trying to find your way around. Why don't I take you around?" And at first I thought, it's not a good idea to just trust strangers like that, especially strangers that want money. But after speaking to him for quite some time, I saw that he was actually a reasonably trustworthy guy. He just wanted a bit of money. He wanted something to do with his day. And so I jumped in his car and off we went. So in Colombia, maybe that's not the best thing to do, because Colombia is known for its kidnappings and other unfortunate events. So maybe it wasn't the best of ideas. But nevertheless, he was an honest guy, as it turned out, and I had a great time. So first of all, he took me to the house of Simón Bolivar. Now, if you know Latin American history, you'll be very aware of the reverence that all well, most South Americans have for Simón Bolivar. He was around in the early 19th century, and he was one of the great figures who united South America. And there is even a country named after him today, Bolivia. And if you know about if you've been to South America, then you would have seen that people refer to Simón Bolivar all the time. They often can't stop talking about him. He's so revered and loved. One person who speaks about him a great deal, for example, who is no longer with us, is Hugo Chavez. Hugo Chavez claimed that his views and his actions were the logical continuation of Simón Bolivar's unification of South America. I've heard some people say that actually if Simón Bolivar were alive today, he would believe his views would be completely the opposite of Hugo Chavez. But I suppose that's a controversial view. So I visited Simón Bolivar's house. It was a very nice place, a pretty little garden. I read up on the history of Simón Bolivar. Then I got back in this guy's car, and we drove off to a little mountain called Monserrate. This is a mountain that suddenly juts up out of nowhere in the landscape in Colombia. Colombia is actually, the area around the mountain is actually reasonably flat, I think. Alejandra might correct me. And this mountain suddenly comes out of nowhere, and so that means that if you go up it, you have a huge view, an amazing view of the whole surrounding area, and you can see the center of the city, and you can see beyond, and it's very impressive. And you can walk along, and there's the Way of the Cross up there, the Via Crucis, and many people go, actually I think they go on pilgrimages up there, and they walk along and pray as they go. In order to get to the top you can walk, but it's quite a distance, and I didn't have much time on my hands, so I took the teleférico, or the cable car. So after that I continued my visit around Bogota, but in order to give those who are taking notes the opportunity to do consecutive, I think we'll stop it here for a minute and we'll continue later on. Thank you.